This is a video of Jalen Hurts and his father embracing after Jalen Hurts and the Eagles won the 2025 Super Bowl. And Jalen Hurts and his father are in a long embrace, crying in each other's arms. And a lot of people will not understand this moment. And I'm not just talking about white people. I'm talking about a lot of black people do not understand how historic this moment is for these two men. Growing up as a black man, from the day you're born, you're disadvantaged. People look at you as less capable, less smart, less skilled, just because of the color of your skin, which is totally ridiculous. Black people has achieved a lot of things in the time that we've been on this earth. And we're just as good as any other race in any field, not just sports. Do you know that many years ago, black men who played football were told that they wasn't good enough to be a quarterback. They were told that quarterbacks need to be smart and read schemes and be a student of the game. Like black people can't be smart, like they can't read schemes. Let me tell you something about Jalen Hurts. After being benched during the national championship game, Jalen spoke to his father. And Jalen said, I looked up to my dad and I asked my dad, what are we going to do now? And he said his dad looked him in the eyes and said, we're going to fight. And his dad didn't mean physically fight. He means mentally fight. He meant that they were going to fight the racial stereotypes. They were going to fight to prove that Jalen was as good as any other quarterback at that time. They were going to fight to give Jalen a chance to be a successful quarterback, not just at that point, but when he also got to the NFL. And when his dad told him, Jalen, we're going to fight, that moment was pivotal because Jalen at that time was a starter with a 26-2 record. And now they put him as a backup to Tua. And his father's words motivated him to compete as hard as he can and to keep faith in himself. And that ultimately led to Jalen being an MVP of the Super Bowl as a black man. And whether you're white or you're black or whatever background you're from, never give up. But white people and a lot of people from other races, they don't go through the same thing as black people. Nobody's questioning them, wondering how smart they are. Nobody's marginalizing them. That's why I look at black men like Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson, LeBron James. These guys are determined to be great, no matter how much times people try to put them down. If you go online, on social media, you would see the hate for LeBron James. This is a man who have never committed a crime, never harmed or raped anybody, never did anything wrong. He's married to his high school sweetheart. He has 3 kids. He's a multi-millionaire, yet he goes to work every day to play basketball. And all people could do is criticize this man. I'm not just talking about white people or any other race. I'm talking about black people putting down one of their own. And at the same time, you know who they're praising? You know who they're looking up to? They're looking up to people like Mike Tyson, who raped a woman and spent time in jail. They have banners about Free Diddy, who raped so many women and men. There were 8 black quarterbacks who started in the Super Bowl and 5 won. And there would have been a lot more if black athletes in the NFL were treated the same as white athletes. Thankfully, we're taking the steps to move forward. And there are a lot of black coaches. There's a good amount of black quarterbacks. Black people are getting opportunities. And they're proving that it doesn't matter the color of your skin, whether you're white or you're black. That has nothing to do with how good you're going to be. When are we ever going to change in America? When are black people going to get a fair shake? When are people going to stop just looking at the color of our skin and judging us for that? Michael Vick, a black quarterback, said this. He said, a lot of us aren't viewed as passers. We're viewed as athletes. I think it's unfair and unfortunate. Tyron Taylor, another black quarterback, said, it's always going to be twice as bad just because of who I am, an African-American quarterback. Look across the league, man. We're held to a different standard. We almost have to be perfect. And I could relate to this because I'm a videographer. I'm a black man. And when I go to my jobs, sometimes I feel like the brides or the bride's mother, they wish it was somebody else. Now, I'm one of the best at what I do. But what I'm trying to say is that people judge you just by looking at you, just the color of your skin. Now, this is not everyone, okay? So a lot of people have go, I felt comfortable and everything has been great. I'm just saying it has happened. And I guarantee you, if I was white, that will never happen. Nobody's just going to look at me and assume I don't know what I'm doing. Tyrod Taylor also said that he always knew he would be criticized more than his white counterparts. A sentiment also echoed by Michael Vick and Cam Newton. But he said that what drove him to be a better player. And I'm telling you, that's what also drives me to be almost a perfect man. Of the millions of black people in America, me being one of those people, I'm always aware, even in a room where I'm full of black people, that I need to represent my race and my family and myself. I need to do that, and I need to be extra good, extra respectful. I need to be perfect, basically. For me, there's no room for error. I feel like if I make one mistake, people wouldn't want to work with me anymore. And it's totally unfair because I'm a human being just like everyone else, and I can make mistakes. But as a black man, I really can't make mistakes. Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon got a big contract from Arizona, and they put a clause in his contract stating that he had to study film for 4 hours a week. So they signed this guy, knowing that this guy was obviously a good quarterback. But because he was black, they put a clause stating that he had to study film for 4 hours a week. If he was white, there wouldn't be any clause at all. And that is what you call racism. And Moon stated that it's something we always were accused of back in the day when they didn't let us black quarterbacks play. They say that we were lazy, that we didn't study, and we wouldn't be leaders. They also said that we were not smart. These are all the things that was said about black quarterbacks in the NFL. I saw all the criticism for Jalen Hurts during the season, and this is a guy that's very reserved, very respectful. The guy plays hard. The guy wins a lot of games, and people would find every excuse to diminish him. Colin Cowherd, who is an analyst, who is a sports analyst, said that the Eagles won despite Jalen. He said that less than 24 hours after Jalen won the MVP after playing in the Super Bowl and beating the Kansas City Chiefs. So you see that racism is still alive, and they're just covering it up with a whole bunch of nonsense. Jalen Hurts is as good as any quarterback. He's been to the Super Bowl twice in 3 years. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes the first time they met in the Super Bowl, and he outplayed him the second time he met him in the Super Bowl. And let me be clear that Patrick Mahomes is a mixed guy. His father is a black man, but he's light-skinned. And I will tell you this, light-skinned black people get a pass over dark-skinned black people all the time. We as black people, we should be celebrating people like Jalen Hurts, LeBron James, and all the other great, not just athletes, but these guys are fathers. These guys are good people. They're not committing any crimes. They're not doing anything wrong. This is the kind of people that we want in our society. In general, whether you're white or you're black, we want good people in the world. And I saw the video of Jalen Hurts and his father embracing, crying, and I was right there with them crying inside because I know what it meant. I know exactly what they had to go through. And it saddens me to see a lot of black people still using the N-word. People say that Kendrick Lamar was sending some message to black people in his Super Bowl halftime performance. And that's a whole bunch of crock. Kendrick Lamar has only helped degrade black people. The real message sent was by Jalen Hurts by winning the Super Bowl and proving to people that despite of oppression, despite of his skin color, people looking down on him and marginalizing him, he turned out to be the best of all the different quarterbacks that people were raving about. Jalen is the one end up to be number one on top. I look at Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance and I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with black culture when every 2 words out of their mouth is the N-word. I'm not impressed with black culture when they have Serena Williams, who we supposed to be looking up to, doing the Crip walk dance on stage. The Crips are a violent gang and black people are doing their dance. Famous black people find it necessary to emulate a gang that's going around degrading us by killing people, killing each other. This is who we're celebrating. We're not celebrating LeBron and Jalen and all the other great black athletes. We're celebrating the friggin' Crips. You believe that? Of all the dances Serena could have done on the stage, she did the Crip walk. That, my friends, are why it's going to take another 1,000 years for black people to even make a tiny step forward. Because Jalen Hurts did something amazing, take us one step forward. Then Serena Williams did something really stupid and take us 10 steps back. You know, black people, they're in uproar after somebody gets killed. Yet the next day, they're listening to drill rap about murdering people and all this sort of nonsense. They're embracing that culture, that violent culture. And then they're wondering why people don't take us seriously, why we can't get forward as a race. That's why. How are people going to take you seriously when you're shooting yourself in the foot, when you're calling yourselves the N-word, when you're referring to each other as derogatory things, women referring to each other as the B-word, men referring to each other as the N-word. It's ridiculous. It's a shame. I don't know what's going on in this world, but I'm not happy by what I see. The only thing I can do is appreciate men like Jalen Hurts, and in my own life, I can set an example for my own son so he can grow up to be a respectable man. We're the only race that embrace a derogatory word for us. What other race do you see embracing derogatory words for themselves? Nobody else but us. So when I see good black people like Jalen, brings a tear to my eye, and I only hope there are more people like him. I want to thank everyone for listening, and I'll see you all in the next video.